All right. We got Dane Fletcher on the podcast today. Dane, he's sitting here, but I'll talk like he's not. Dane's a guy that I think is a leader kind of wherever, from my outside perspective, wherever he goes. And he's an alpha, probably a type A kind of guy. I started following you when I was going to school. We're the same age. I think we went to school the exact same year. And obviously anyone that makes it out of Montana and plays football in the NFL, you usually hear about.
Yeah.
Like it's not
Hopefully.
like the easiest path.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I first heard about you. And then just being back in the Bozeman community, I knew that you started your gym when you stopped playing football. And then recently during COVID, Bozeman turned into like Los Angeles very quickly. It was already going that way.
Yeah.
And you were very outspoken on the politics here, which was awesome.
Thank you.
So
Yeah, that's a
I'm glad to have
great
you
intro.
on. Yeah.
Thanks, Zack. I appreciate it.
I think
Happy to be on.
Dane's someone to definitely follow along. And if you run across him, cross paths, I mean, I don't know much yet, but
Yeah.
a little bit I've seen it like. Just being at the gym, I went into his gym earlier today. It's the Pitt here in Montana.
Yep. The Pitt training facility.
What's the quick synopsis on the Pitt for people who have been in the Bozeman area or around here and don't know what it is?
Yeah, it's the elevator pitch on the Pitt would just be it's the community that sells it, the people that are there, and I know every gym probably sells that sales pitch, but it really is. And we try and structure the classes to be as efficient as we can, and also with the private training. So you warm up as a group. Then we go to the TVs. We kind of explain what the gist is for the phase. We change phases every 4 weeks. We have an annual perspective on how you should train, and we'll kind of dig into that a little bit later. And then we have a recovery lab. So we try and just kind of set people up for success, whether it's training, recovery. We have a dietitian on staff. Everything that I had access to in the NFL.
Yeah.
I kind of tried to bring to this facility and help people grow. It doesn't matter if you just had a kid, you're 80 years old, anywhere in between. If you're a pro athlete, we're there for it.
Nice. Yeah, well, definitely I've got some questions about the gym, but kind of the interesting part that I think applies in our space too is like the mental side of things that I would assume you've developed in all the years of athletics at a high level. And so I guess let's start there maybe. How did you get into Montana State as a football player, and what was that experience like for you? I kind of want to hear a little bit about that and kind of pick it apart a little bit, I think.
Yeah, just getting into Montana State. Hockey was always my go-to. I couldn't imagine playing anything else professionally than hockey growing up.
Yeah.
And then truly had a burnout year, in between my junior and senior year of hockey, and I was over it. So I fell back, and luckily as a multi-sport athlete, 3-sport athlete between hockey, baseball, and football. And that's why I am a huge advocate, even to this day, for kids playing multi-sports, is if I didn't have that fallback on football, just something I enjoyed doing still, I wouldn't have a gym to this day, I guess.
For sure.
But so then I got a partial scholarship that got me a foot into Montana State and had to kind of grind my way up the hard way, up the ladder there, and was not lucky enough. I earned my way up to being a captain as early as my sophomore year, and then taking that leadership role as a captain as a sophomore in college, going into Texas A&M, and then still performing. We're down by 3 at halftime and the 12th man at A&M. That's when I kind of was like, okay, I'm on to something here with my work ethic, how I can lead a team, how I can lead a defense, things like that, and just be part of it and rally the troops I was silent at the time.
Yeah.
And for a point in everybody's life, you just got to kind of shut up and do the movements and work harder than everybody. And then there's got to be a point where you step up and you're vocal. And I never found that voice till I was kind of my last years in the NFL. And I regret that almost, because you're not helping people out by not being vocal. So that's the long and short.
Yeah, that's a tough one because I'm a pretty vocal guy, and there's a fine line because not everyone's wired that way to be like, hey, I have a problem, or hey, I want to do this, or hey, I want to see this, or I like this, or people kind of, I think, hold a lot of that in and go about their days.
Yeah.
I guess in the leadership sense, why do you think it took you? What was the transition point to where you started to kind of speaking up when it was necessary and being vocal in that role?
It's just watching the guys I'm around, and the people that I really respected were the quiet ones that were the silent killers. And the guys that go out there, put their neck on the line, work harder than everybody in the weight room, do the work that needs to be done for the film behind the scenes late at night. Those are the guys that I always watch and I just like beat it in on. Tom Brady being like the number one advocate for that.
Yeah.
He wasn't a vocal guy as much as people make him out to be in these clips on and shorts being low. Yeah, that's not Tom at all. He's a hermit crab. He likes to be in the corner, do all the work without anybody knowing it, and then just show it on Sundays. And once Tom really started getting vocal later in his career, that's when I was around him. And I saw that transition. I was like, that's what the world needs more of. They don't need the rah guys that haven't earned it. They need the guys that have earned it and now are figured out they earned it. And when they have a voice, people listen. And at that point, my third, fourth year in the NFL, I was like, it's okay to start speaking up. And if I see something wrong, it's against me now to not say something to these kids or what I see. So once I found my voice, there's no turning it back.
Yeah, for sure. What, we'll kind of rewind way back because I'm interested. You said you burned out on hockey.
Yeah.
What burned you out? Like, what was like your state when you're like, I'm burnt out, and what led to it?
Yeah, that's
because I feel like it's interesting. I don't have kids yet, but I think about like how I'd navigate those waters. Being a competitive person, and how do you allow your kid to do things and try things? But the reality also is like it costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Hey, if you're going to do this long enough, you better start doing it good. But like, what made you burn out in your situation?
Mine was, and I have twin boys. They're both 6 years old. So I really get to see the difference in personalities with two kids. And I learned a lot from that of being like, I've raised them the exact same. They wake up, they work out with me 4 days a week. And they have for a year and a half, but their personalities are so different. And one of them is just eager and chomping at the bit and wants it. One of them is eager and chomping at the bit and wants different things, like wants to be a fishing guide or something like that. They're totally different. Me personally, I wanted it. So my parents never really were like the people that are like, you're going to do this, you're going to be great. They were not that. Like my dad owned a bar. My parents had a farm, still do. So I was the farm kid. And they let me be. They were harsh critics on me, which I'll always be on my kids. Like when I got off the ice, or I got off the field, they hit me with the truth, especially my mom. Like, you could have been better here. There was never really a time when you got off and you're like, well, good job, honey. Yeah. You didn't hear that. And I think that raised me the right way to produce. Yeah.
So was it just you were just burnt out for whatever reason?
Yeah, I mean, I lived it, man. My focus was so hyper focused on playing in the NHL that, I started playing juniors when I was a freshman in high school and traveling with the big boys. You're traveling with 21-year-olds. 20 to 18 is kind of the age that you're going. And I remember being on a bus going to Fernie, Canada when I was 14 and a half, maybe 15. And I'm with the big good dogs at this point, which I loved. Wake up at 4:30 in the morning, be on the ice by 5:30. You're on the ice. They added a curriculum for me at the high school, so I didn't get to the high school till 11 o'clock in the afternoon. Hit a few hours, and I'd be back at the rink afterwards. So I was just a rat, like an ice rat. And even before that, growing up, when I was 6, 7 years old, I was going to Helena because we didn't have an indoor sheet here at the time. So I was going to Helena almost 3-4 days a week after school with the head coach for the Ice Dogs, Smoke Cole.
Dang.
And I loved it. There's not like, I was that at the time I was bred to do this. Like I'm here for it. And that switch just turned off my junior year. I was just like, I didn't want to go in the rink anymore. I was over.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's weird.
It's wild. I'm always, as I've gotten older and like played golf and precision rifle, like shooting with a gun and like different things for the mental side, which you learn in life, everything's mental, but I enjoy like analyzing like a few layers deeper of like even like why you burned out. Like, did you just lose a passion for it? Was the performance not there? Or was it the people? Was it like,
Yeah, I got that bead on you the minute you came in the gym, and just how you look around, you could see that somebody that's very analytical and just how your brain breaks things down is not common to what you see.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'd say it didn't start this way. It was definitely developed. What's up, man? Thank you. But yeah, it's one of the reasons that I think I don't follow professional sports very closely. Like, I've never played them, and I've never really been, I guess, a real fan. But the thing that's kind of captivated me, whether it's UFC, whether it's NBA, NFL, golf, whatever, is like the mindset of the killers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and there's killers out on the floor. And as a hunter, you're going out in the wildest places in the world and competing with predators that live out there every single day, and prey and mature animals that are out there every single day. And I feel like the mindset has to be the same if you want to have success, at least at a high level of finding and killing animals. Now, that's not the only way that you measure the success of a hunt, but I want that.
Yeah.
And so it's cool to try to pick up things from other sports and activities and pursuits, and just like get inside the head a little bit, and like try, even if you can pick up one little thing, like,
Oh, totally.
like that 0.5% or that 1% of 1%, just like added it on.
Yep. Like, I'm not a basketball guy at all, but following like Kobe and the Mamba mentality and things like that, and just looking at hunters, looking at, I mean, whatever, like you said, as the apex predators. And then when you're a hunter, and I know this a little bit, is when you get in the woods, you're not the apex predator necessarily anymore. And things are out there to get you. And it kind of, it makes you grow up real quick and kind of realize that you're just another person in the forest.
Yeah. Definitely going out into grizzly country and just being like, I'm going to go wherever I want, however I want, not recklessly, but like, and I'm just going to live here and exist here. Like, you have to have a mindset.
Yeah.
To like do that over long periods of time.
Yeah. That not a lot of people are willing to do.
Because I don't want to wrestle a grizzly bear.
No.
Screw that. But I want to be out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when you went to the NFL, what was it? Did it feel different, or had you just been in competitive athletics for so long that it was just the next step when you went,
Yeah, that's a really good question.
I feel like it'd be like a little wild, man.
It's so wild. I mean, you're in the big leagues. Yeah. It's almost like watching Major League, the baseball movie, and you're truly in the big leagues when you see how the cafeteria is set up. It's the whole stadium. It's made for you. Mm-hmm. Where college, you're in there to go to school and do the thing, and playing football is just an added benefit, and even in college, even D1. But when you get to the NFL, that's how you put food on your plate. So now, stepping on that field, everybody's fast. High school, college, middle school, it doesn't matter. All that growing up, you got the kids that are athletic that just lean on that, right? And they don't have to work that hard, and they're lazy. We didn't have that in the NFL anymore, especially playing under Belichick. Like, you'll be out real quick if you're just naturally gifted. Everybody's a naturally gifted athlete. You're a 1%er at this point. Like, so now you got to be naturally gifted plus give it your all just to earn a spot in that 46-man roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was a big off the top of your head takeaway from playing under Bill Belichick? I'm sure there was a book full of them, but
I got stories on Bill. Yeah. No. The guy is demanding, and not a lot of people can make it in his system. He wants to win more than anybody can even fathom, just living out a life. Like, that's where that man's mind space is at daily. Between him, Matt Patricia, Josh McDaniels, so those will be our coordinators and probably a couple of position coaches. They're sleeping in the stadium in their offices on like a little sofa 3-4 nights a week, watching film all night, and they might get an hour or two of sleep, and they come in just 1 coffee in, 3 coffees in the next morning, like ready to go at 5:30, 6 in the morning, like fired up. And that's their lives, that's what they're meant to do. Purpose on life, I guess. And so Bill, with that hyper focus on winning and being great, he doesn't have time for anything else. Like, he has some phenomenal kids, but even they know that. Like, I always joke with Brian and Steve, his two sons. I was like, you guys know that your dad would 100% trade you for a first-round draft pick, right? Like, and not even joking, like 100% he would. That's just how our family is. I'm like, it's insane to think. Like, my parents would never even, that's not even a question. Most parents, 99.9%, but Bill would. He would think like, okay, yeah, my son Bill could go live here if I could get a first-round draft pick to help me win this year. It's crazy. Yeah. But Bill's a good dude. He high expectations, but if you can go in that system and work under him and you're willing to put your nose to the grindstone, you have every opportunity to play for him, and that's all I needed. Just give me the chance, and I'll prove it all day. I'll work harder than anybody I know. I'll watch film later than anybody I know, and I'll earn my way. And so I was an undrafted free agent to the New England Patriots, and man, I was active on the roster day one because Bill gave me the opportunity.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's gotta be a cool feeling. When it comes to work ethic on a private team like that, or on I don't know why I said private team, but on a
it's a private team. Yeah, not many people can
I
be
guess
on
it
it.
is private. How easy is it for you to differentiate yourself from others in your work ethic? Like, is your day super full with just like team activities, or do they give you enough leeway to like really make a jump over another teammate?
No, you don't have, like, you're there, especially your rookie year. Everybody's there. All rookies report at probably 5 a.m, and you're not leaving till 10:30 at night. Mm-hmm. So there's no time, and every minute's calculated, and they own you.
Yeah,
they own you. Yeah. So the margin for more work ethic is so minimal. It's mainly just paying attention to the little details and proving that like, okay, so the difference of that, like, that's when you're like locked into the stadium, and then everybody was like capped, like gassed, go back to the hotel, especially in camps and stuff, the rookie year, and that's when the extra amount of work ethic kicked in for me. Is like, if I want a chance to be on this team, everybody else is going to bed because it's 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. I'm gonna read my playbook, and the playbook is, it's a foot tall for the people not watching this, but it's a foot tall. Hundreds and hundreds of pages that you got to learn and comprehend and be ready for the next day. And so I'd go home, and I remember falling asleep at 12:30, 1 o'clock, just reading the playbook and just trying my hardest. And I wasn't ever a great student, and like, it just didn't come naturally. I'm ADD, OCD, all the DDs probably. Yeah. And so it's hard for me to focus, but I just gave it my all and just tried and learned what I could and came to the table every morning.
When you first got onto the Patriots and like were in their system, how long did it take for you to like alter your mentality of how you like operated day to day, or was it already dialed in? Because I feel like in that system, there's so much, right? Between hyper focused, you're in the drill, or you're in the play, or you're whatever it is, to like team, like homies, like bullshitting, and then like snapping in and out and like trying to be. Or do you just have to stay in? Do you have to be Tom Brady and just, I'm locked in all day?
Yeah, that team feeling.
Like, how was that when you came from college into NFL and like had to be in that every single day to try to perform? Because if you're a hungry guy, it's like, how do I maximize my performance every single day? Because that's the only way that I'm getting called to like either be the starter, or whenever like it's not going right, like, dang, get us in there and regulate.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there's no team, especially for a long time in the NFL. So you gotta rip off whatever you can eat. And so what I mean by that is you the people sitting next to you in the lot, you're not dilly-dagging or whatever it is in the locker room like you were in college, and you got buddies from Butte, Montana, and this, that, and the other that you all know, like, especially coming from Montana State. Nobody else is on the team from nobody even knew where Montana was out in Foxborough. Like, so that's a whole nother thing. You got guys in my class that all won the national championship from Florida. So Aaron Hernandez and all those guys, Brandon Spikes, a bunch of great players. And so, like, they all kind of knew each other and got along. But for the most part, like, if you're from a smaller school, you're on your own. And so, and I mean, I sat next to, for the first half a year, the regular season, I sat right next to Rob Ninkovich. He wouldn't even talk to me. I was like, dude, we both play defense. We both like to drink beers. Like, come on, man. And wouldn't even talk to me until probably like our 6th game in. And I was like, what's your deal, man? He's like, hey, no offense, but it's too hard to make relationships and friendships in this environment. I've been in the league longer than you, Dane. He's like, everybody sitting in that seat is gone for a reason. So it's hard to become tight with somebody and then they're gone. Mm-hmm. So I just choose not to. And I was like, damn. And then I realized at that point, like, I got to prove it to Ninkovich that I'm here to stay for a while to be friends. And that's what happened. It's that cutthroat, though. It is so cutthroat.
That's cool. I mean, that's a bummer that it's like that. It has to be.
Yeah.
But it's cool to, I think, be like, oh, shit.
It's a small world. Like, even when anybody that says they're active in the NFL, playing on the roster for at least a couple years, that is a very small world. So you either know them or you know of them. It's just such a tight-knit. It's kind of like the hunting world, you know? Once you get to an elite status in hunting, I feel like all you guys are kind of like buddies in the same way.
Yeah. It looked like you had some injuries.
Yeah, we stacked those up. Yeah, probably like 16 surgeries.
Dang.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 ACLs, 3 thumbs, and then the list goes on.
Yeah. So is that what led you to leave the league, or what was kind of the end of playing football professionally?
Yeah, I always wanted to get 6 years in the NFL. And my 3rd ACL was my 5th year. Last game that I played, last game of the season in Tampa Bay, didn't even matter. And I still played out the rest of that half with a torn ACL. Bonus wise, I wanted that bonus, which sucked. It sucked bad. But then I was kind of done. But I told myself when I first got the NFL, the average expectancy in the NFL is 3 years. So in my mind, I was like, I want to get 6 years, double that. And after I tore my ACL, after 5 years, I was totally done. My agent's like, "Hey, you just had one of the best years you ever had. You got a lot left in the tank." I was like, "That's my 3rd ACL. Yeah. Like, I don't trust it. I don't trust these knees anymore." Yeah. And I'm kind of wore out, burnt out. I've always, like, my biggest dream was always to start a gym back here in Bozeman. That was always it. It wasn't even to play in the NFL. I wanted a gym over the NFL. I just needed the means to do it. And so I gave it some thought. And I kind of just had those hard moments of recovering for 9 months. And the whole time I was like, man, I told myself 6 months or 6 years. And then Bill called me up and he's like, "We want you back." Like, they just came off a Super Bowl, which is really I'm happy for them. I went to the Super Bowl party in Phoenix. I just went to I was like part of it. It was like, here I'm with a torn ACL, traded the ship for a year just to get a payday. And they won a Super Bowl. I'm happy for all my boys. They're all like some of my best friends. But that one hurt. Yeah. And then Bill called me and said he wants me back. And I was like, yeah, I can make one last shot at it. But that was truly it. I was like making blueprints in the meeting rooms that year. I was so checked out. When you're not all in, especially in the professional world, you got to be all out. Yeah. So I came back here and did it.
Nice. So did you just come back right away and just like straight into getting the gym set up?
Yeah. Yeah. I've always had a huge fear of, not staying busy. Mm-hmm. And you see a lot of these guys, former NFL players, and either they made, it's such a curse and a blessing at the same time playing the NFL, because either they made so much money that they're bored the rest of their lives. They have no more reason to be. And so they talk about the good old days and blah, 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 and they wear the Super Bowl rings kind of deal, or they don't. And they just have so much money that they're retired at 40 years old and they're playing golf. That's too early to be bored, And then you got guys that didn't make enough, where they had all the homies taking all the money from them. Yeah. And that's a whole nother sad aspect where, they become 40 and they have no money, and they're too ornery to go get a job and start doing construction again. So they're nothing. There's very little guys that I've seen in the median zone. I'm in the median zone, which is like the perfect zone for me. Like, didn't make too much money. Yeah. Not poor. I was able to come back, live a happy life, but I always had to have a job beyond just my playing days in the NFL, unless I want to live in like Cincinnati and live in a box.
For sure.
And so that was the end all goal. And like, I lived with one of my best friends, Nico Kudavides. Him and Gronk and I lived together. But Nico had things going. Every day we'd wake up and me and Gronk would like come downstairs. And he was on his 10th or 11th year in the NFL. He's a little older, and he was building apartments in Connecticut, and he had a rhyme reason. He had Fox News on. He had blah blah blah. And he's Greek, so he just had everything moving and loved him. And so he was like, Dane, when you decide to retire, will you just have your shit together? And so Gronk, like, there's something to that, man. Like, you got to have things working for you, so you're not just retired and then wondering, okay, maybe I should go sell insurance tomorrow and figure it out. Like, have it working. Use these networks while you got them. When the iron's hot, you got to elaborate on it. So that's what I was doing. Like, I flew back on with Brady and Giselle back in the day, and I just hit Tom and I are in the back of his plane, and I was just I was picking his brain. I was like, this is my blueprints for the gym. I'm gonna do this here. I'm gonna do this, blah blah blah. And I was like, he was all in, and that's the fun part about having something else going besides football.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
So what was when you started the gym, what was the goal? Was it going to be like, hey, you can come in whenever? Were you going to have classes? Were you going to train athletes? What was kind of the foundation for it, like the purpose at that time?
Yeah, I was so athlete-based. I saw what was going on in Boston, how that performance center side of things was really taking off. And got back to Bozeman, that's where we started. Like, I'm going to help all these athletes get there, have the resources that I didn't have. And then kind of learned that, it's the sports that kills you. And these coaches and how demanding they are of these kids and these public or these what are they, club teams? Mm-hmm. And these club teams making kids commit to one sport year round, and the pressure they're putting on them and the parents. I'm so against it. Like, my kids will never be that, and I won't let them do that. You can play multi-sports. You're going to have fun. Do what you can. Mm-hmm. And then if you go. Like, if my kids really want to, and they're just biting nails to play in the NFL, go. Besides that, there's zero pressure on playing in the NFL. Hockey, I'll put a little heat on to play hockey. I think guaranteed contracts. You're going against, wealthy people for the most part. It's easier making hockey, in my opinion, even though it's a hard sport. But so yes, the training specific side is where I want to go for youth sports, and then I quickly realized, financially, but I quickly realized the demand's not here. Mm-hmm. People are just, and it wasn't here. So I really fast was like, okay, we'll always train kids because I want to be a part of that. I want to be part of the journey with kids. So we to this day have a middle school class, and it's mostly just how I can give back. Yeah. But besides that, we're hyper focused on the adult population and just, helping anybody in any process of the journey they want to go.
So is there open gym time at your gym, or is it just you're in some structure of classes?
We have open gym from 1 till 4, but there might be one person in there.
Gotcha.
And then our classes are jammed.
Gotcha. So
people come for the classes. It's not your LA Fitness where you're just doing biceps and curls and all that stuff. It ain't that.
I figured there'd be a couple big dogs in there chalking up.
Yeah, no, dude, no. The chalk up guys get weeded out real quick. I'll tell you that. Because I'm not the guy that ever wears, I always have my shirt on working out. I got long sleeves on. Mm-hmm. That's all of our members are. Yeah. It's not the gym where you come and you work out with your shirt off and it's a bunch of meatheads walking around. It's not we got CEOs, business guys, people that are hunters, Willie Schmidt comes. He's great. We got people that want to take care of their body, and it's not looking in the mirror and taking, my mirrors in my bathrooms are so small. Good luck taking a picture in those things, That's not the population I want. I don't care.
For sure.
Yeah.
I think that's a good way to go. It's definitely a much more civil way to go.
Yeah.
So do you ever, I feel like the Pitt, I want to, with your athletic background in sports, I always want to associate it with athletes. What if someone who's a skier comes in and says, hey, Dane, I want to up my game, or I'm a rock climber, or, whatever these other pursuits in Bozeman that are, I'm a professional snowmobiler, and I want to get better upper body strength so I can do whatever on my sled. How do you work with those people? And do you have people like that in your gym, or how would you approach people that would want to come in? Cause that's kind of, I guess, more the world I live in, of trying to be at a high performance level, even though people be oh, hunting, whatever, you can drive around in your truck. Well, that's not how I hunt. I backpack hunt a lot, where
Yeah.
It is serious performance, and I'm trying to get the most from my body over a ton of different days in the field.
Correct. Yeah, I'm actually stoked on my podcast. I got Caleb Sturkey lined up to do the pro snowmobiler.
Nice.
I mean, he's sick. But on the flip side of that is like, when these guys come in for specific things, they're pros in one thing. Like, yeah, we do private training and we put together a plan, an annual plan, broke down to phases and why. But for the most part, man, I do my large group classes and I just get in with everybody else, and it keeps me motivated because there's usually people from the fit of the fit in those classes, and we have so many classes and such a great demographic of people. You have people that are beginners all the way to elite and played pro sports, so I can get in and compete against so-and-so here, and somebody that's brand new to the gym can come in and just kind of like figure it out here, and everybody feels welcome. But I really realized that this specific type of training, it's not necessary. And I learned that at my buddy Brian McDonough, who's now the Patriots the weightlifting coach. Mm-hmm. And when I was training with him, he helped me get this thing kind of started. I was training with him when I was playing. I was like my second year in. And we're training, good group of us for the Patriots are training over in this corner and doing our thing. And then the U.S. women's soccer team is doing the same thing we're doing. Mm-hmm. And it bothered my ego. It bothered me. So I go, Brian, why are we doing the same thing they're doing? Like, completely different sports. I'm training for middle linebacker. They're the women's soccer team. One, they're women compared to men. He goes, he slapped me. He goes, you're such an idiot. He goes, do you need to move? Yeah, Brian, I need to move. Do you need to be strong? Yeah. Do you need to transfer your strength into power? Yeah, I need to do that. He goes, so what makes you so different than what they're looking for? Yeah. And I was like, that's kind of true. He goes, yeah, we're going to get you ready and like drill specific stuff. We'll get you there. But right now in the phase you're in and you're in that phase a majority of the year because you're not in season, stop thinking that you're that elite. And for him telling me is like at the time I was starting at middle linebacker to tell me that I'm not elite, I was like, that's a kick in the ego. Yeah. And I needed that. And then I had to really like look back at how I'm programming everything for the gym and, now and everything is like, nobody's that elite. Yeah. Anybody can get in my large group and get unbelievable results. Yeah. And you just your own ego that has to get over it.
Yeah, for sure. What are so if I come in through your doors today, hey, I want to come start working out here. Is it like, hey, these are certain class times, or there's different classes with different purposes?
We try and put just one killer program together. Okay. We used to have so many different classes and different purposes and everything. We have one low impact class in the middle of the morning at 10 o'clock for anybody just want to take an easy, or, maybe they're a little bit older and just don't want the stress on their joints. We reprogram a little bit for that and tweak them. But if you come in the doors for the first time, we do a consultation. It's free. Get you on in-body analysis to see where you are. Write out plans because everything's kind of specific to you and what you're looking for, and hear you out there. And then we kind of go from there. And I know I probably didn't answer that, but yeah.
So the classes are kind of like you guys build the program out, and it's just kind of like you're part of the community or you're not.
Yeah.
Unless you're needing something specific on the outside of.
Yep.
Which you can provide, but.
Yeah, and you do the class. It takes about 45 minutes, and it's college status of you warm up together as a group for about 8 minutes. Then we're in on the TV. We have not leaderboards, but percentages over here with everybody's weights. So then you know exactly how much weight you should be doing at that phase. And then after you wrap up the workout, we usually have a finisher that literally just finishes you, and then on you go to our recovery lab where we have a sauna, hot tub, cold tub, but we program for that as well, so everybody knows exactly how to recover correctly according to how we're training that phase.
Yeah, because like it's probably been the last like 8 or so years, but like I'm sure a bazillion people, like my low back gives me problems, like. I've, bought the lacrosse ball and rolled and stretched and worked on different, like try to strengthen my core, or my low back, or try to like sit differently. And it seems like, it comes and goes. I know that like my discs, whatever like the cushioning is between the discs is not like ideal. Like it's pretty minimal from all the years of skiing and just
Yeah.
flat landings, being in the training park and doing dumb stuff when you're like 16 to 20. But like, I want that to go away or understand why it is. Like, how would you approach trying to figure something like that out if I came, through your doors and was like, dude, like my back, like I can go hike, and I'm moving, my back's great. I can pack an elk out, my back's great.
Yeah.
I come home, I start lifting in my garage, nothing crazy, sitting in my chair a bunch, and it just, it'll be like I drove too far. I drove 6 hours today, and tomorrow my back's like just hurting.
Yeah.
It's super tight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Yeah. I mean, what people don't understand is like your back muscles wrap around kind of your hip flexors. Mm-hmm. You have your psoas. And have you ever like released your psoas?
No. I mean, I've thought about buying a psoas, right? But
yeah, my buddy Mac Mullahan, he played with me at MSU. He's the founder of that. He invented it, which is cool. We have some at the gym if you want to just try it.
Yeah.
You can just do it on your own. You could use that kettlebell right there and just top of your hip, belly button in between there. And then you just dig and you find a really gross feeling, like gut wrenching, gross feeling. If you could just do that when you're sitting there or laying down, usually I'm laying down with my knees up, you'll find it quick. It's very aggressive. You throw a kettlebell upside down, put it on there and just rock it. And you do that for a minute. That's not going to cure the problem, but that's just an idea. Yeah. Glute medius, usually you need to strengthen your glutes, not like your whole butt cheeks, but like the little muscles on top. And that takes stress off of the connection piece to your lower back. And then there's other things. Like everybody always thinks like, oh, I need a stronger core because my back hurts or whatever. Yeah. There's other things that you probably could do too, like throughout the year to load differently, like load and probably more. On your back or with a trap bar or something, so it's more on your arms.
Yeah.
These are all the things that we do at the gym.
Nice.
You gotta come check it out.
Okay.
No. But in the hunter's perspective, that's what's kind of cool is I don't think a lot of gyms, trainers have a whole perspective on how's it whole year look, a whole annual outline. And selfishly, I write this outline, and my coaching director, we write this outline based off of what we see and what we want out of it too. Like I'm like, okay, I like hunting. I like throwing a pack on. So I'm gonna have a progression for hunting season. So I'm strong coming in, but I'm also very lean. Yeah. So I can carry a pack and I'm not carrying too much weight going up and down these hills and things like that. And then we have a phase where we're getting really strong at end of hunting season, get bulky for the winter because you have all these. You gotta withstand the elements.
You have all those cookies that you need to eat, so you might as well be bulking.
and then we prepare for ski season for people so they don't blow out their ACL. So we're so VMO prominent. We're so hyper focused on preventative things to strengthen things, keep them limber, so then people don't blow out their ACLs. In Big Sky or Bridger. For sure. And then you go into another phase. Hypertrophy phase more in the spring because people want to look good on the beach or spring break, and then you cut for the summer. So we really try to think of this an annual thing. But hunting season, we have so many hunters that come to the gym that we try and really think about that.
Nice, that's cool.
Yeah,
you're in for sure the 1% of age class as far as I'm sure like overall body, physique, fit, healthy. As far as like your regimen, how you eat and supplement now versus your 20s, is there anything that you're doing as you've kind of gotten to your later 30s that has helped? Or is it just staying on top of all the things that I think people let slip as they get older?
Yeah, I think it's consistency is king. People just slip in general. Like once you figure out what works for you, like just ride the wave, know, like, so luckily my job as the owner of the gym is to just experiment with different things, supplements. So I know so much about supplements because I've done a month here. Then I've done blood work and I've done here and I got access to blood work and I'm just going to bounce different things off and just learn, okay, well, I'll track my sleep with magnesium. How do I sleep with that? And so, there's things, being very consistent with my breakfast every morning. I eat the same or take the same shake every morning, like maybe once on the weekend I'll have a pancake or something, but it works for me. Like I stay lean at it. I get all the stuff in it. So once you figure that out, what works for you, and if you don't figure it out or you can't, go to somebody that can help you, go to a dietitian or somebody that can help you get dialed, because once you have that tool in your tool belt, you have that forever. So if I had that recommendation, I'd be like, get help to figure out your diet and what's right for you, and invest in blood work and stuff like that, where you can get yourself dialed. Because once you know that, then you just stay on that path, and okay, if I get fat again, I just need to get back on that path. But yeah, man, I'm a very high protein kind of a guy.
Yep.
Tons of protein throughout the day. Creatine, it's the things but I'm consistent with it.
For sure.
And I have a hyperbaric chamber in my house. I do that a couple mornings a week. Mainly just I'm trying to get my brain cells firing so I don't get the CTE like a lot of guys.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be preventive in that aspect.
Nice.
Excuse me.
That's okay. Jared will catch it.
Yeah. But on my rookie class in the NFL, just my rookie class, I think there's 3 or 4 of the guys that I came in with for the Patriots that became killers, like killed other people. And I know it's because of CTE.
Dang.
That's not who they were.
Yeah.
Aaron Hernandez, Sergio Brown. And then you got other guys, and then Chandler Jones kind of going off the deep. Like some of my really good friends, you're like, so now I'm just doing everything preventative where I hopefully don't turn into that. But
Yeah. Hopefully not.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough part of the sport, especially starting with hockey.
Yeah. Signed up for a lot of concussions.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Sick. Quick question before we'll transition to some hunting, some fishing stuff, but what do you think about pre-workout?
If it works for you.
Because I'm like, what's in this?
Yeah.
Like, how do I know that like it definitely works? You know, like
caffeine.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
Like, but I feel like it's not, I don't know. There's, for some reason, or just some part of me that's like, it just can't be good to take all the time, like leading into workouts on a regular basis over a long period of time. But is that wrong in my head? Like I'm sure it depends on the type of pre-workouts. Like, how do you know what all the things are that's in it? And like, I think that's something that's probably confusing for a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a really good question.
I think people just blindly take stuff, but
yeah. I like now I try and do things with like a little bit more like nootropics in it and stuff like that than just the hard hitting caffeine. And maybe it's got caffeine too, but I take pre-workout before I work out.
Yeah.
Because am I going to work out way harder on pre-workout than I do without it? Yeah, I do. I do. And so I get way more out of that workout. And so it works for me.
Yep.
And I don't crash throughout the day or anything like that because I don't take so much caffeine or anything in my pre-workout. I've kind of limited it down. But yeah, back in college and in high school, I was just like double scooping anything I could of just pre-work caffeine.
Dude, we had we kept all of our tubs of No Explode.
This
stuff.
Yeah,
dude.
that's what I was
And at the end of the year, we'd stack it up, just being like freshmen in college, be like, yeah, like, you're an idiot.
Yep. No Explode. That was the stuff.
Dude.
I don't know. I don't look too much into it. I don't think it's going to kill you as long as it's not too crazy on the label.
For sure.
Yeah. I do First Form stuff because
nice.
I like what they're about, and I like the founder of it. And so, and I've looked at their labels a lot, and it's good stuff. So,
Nice.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. So you're, it doesn't sound like did you always hunt a little bit, or is this something you just gotten into recently?
I grew up hunting with my dad, but that's rifle hunting, and that's where my dad does everything for me, and I follow along like a little idiot.
Yeah.
And, yeah, man, that's kind of my hunting up until recently.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I saw it looked like you were getting after it last year.
Oh man, I'm so in. Yeah, I got a bow last year and so addicted.
Yeah.
Yeah, and grew up with Jason Matzinger and Willie Schmidt comes to the gym, and these guys that have really stapled a good path in my eyes of hunting, and a lot of the guys I grew up with, the Kelsers and stuff. They're
a beast,
big hunters, and so I'm very familiar with it, and so. They've been the whole town has been pressuring me on this bow hunting thing until finally, and I'm like you, once I'm in, I'm all in, and I was beyond all in last year. And I was in between 3 or 4 good sized bulls for 3 weeks. And so, I was working for it. I loved it.
Did you just take it upon yourself? Did you have someone that mentored you through the process? Like, how did you start?
I took it upon myself. I'm so hard-headed that and that's how I was with fishing too. And it's funny because my wife, Danny, her dad is an unbelievable fit. He had Madison River Outfitters in West Yellowstone. He started that, and he's a phenomenal fisher, fly fisher. He's a phenomenal bow hunter. He guided everything. And so Danny's on me the whole time, like, why are you not asking my dad? Why are you not? He shoots a huge bull, like 380 bull every year. Why are you not going out with him? I was like, I before I do that, I need to figure it out.
Yeah.
I don't want to be just held or handheld throughout the process and him do everything. Like, I need to go learn how to bugle. I need to go out in the public lands and just hike and do it. And I kind of like solo doing it anyways.
Yeah.
And figure it out. And then maybe someday, like once I feel more comfortable, then we can go more as like friends.
Yeah.
And I'm not holding him back, and I'll pay attention to the little details. But right now, there's a broad spectrum of things I need to learn, and I need to just put my time in. And I learned that with fishing. Like, you go on the river and figure it out before you go ask everybody.
Yeah.
That's
my
perspective.
Yeah. I had to teach myself how to do it.
Did you?
I didn't really have any friends that did it because that wasn't my background until I took it upon myself to learn how to fly fish. Because Rock Creek, when I was going to school in Missoula, it's like world famous Rock Creek. And I'm like, well, if people come around the world for this, I probably should go try it a few times at least.
Yeah.
And then I was like, dang. And the year before that, I'd hunted a little bit, and then we went and hunted with my brother's friend Tyler at the time up on the High Line. And did a rifle deer hunt. Was just hooked. But then it was like, once I knew I was in, I literally bought a bow. I drove from Missoula to Billings to buy a used bow to start bow hunting elk, like my second year of hunting.
Yeah.
And so,
I
didn't have a lot of friends that did it. And it was like, you'd read some forums. And then I had a Subaru at the time. I just rally my Subaru up into the mountains and just go elk hunting by myself.
That's why this podcast is so special, though. Is to help people through the journey that you didn't have, right?
For sure.
Yeah.
It's like, even like I started a hunting photography mentorship program online to help people. And then it's like, I'm kind of starting down this journey of my own business and, wanting to do some things where it's like, I need to find a mentor, even though you want to do everything on your own and you should do a lot of things, but sometimes it's so good to find someone who's done it and just being like, hey, like, I'm far enough along to be like, what should I just do next instead of having to try 10 different things out right here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I think there's a healthy mix of send it yourself and be self-sufficient, but lean on some experience.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember.
So maybe you have to lean in a little bit and talk to Danny's dad, be like, hey.
Oh man, it's so embarrassing. I never fly fished growing up either. I just made fun of them. Like, I was like, throw a Rapala out there or a Panther Martin, catch twice the amount of fish that anybody out there at these fly rods do. We all did. We all made fun of them. And so, but I'm flying back with Tom, right, and Giselle, and we're in the back. And at one point, we put the blueprints for the gym away, and he goes, "I got a question, Dane. Do you fly fish?" At that point in my life, I had two decisions. Admit that I don't fly fishing and I'm from Montana where a river runs through it is filmed, or you lie.
Yeah.
Right? And so I lied. And I 100% lied. And I go, yeah, Tom, of course I fly fish. I'm from Montana. He goes, oh, good. He's like, I'm having a real issue learning this. He goes, I don't know how to cast very well. Can you give me any tips on how to cast? In my mind, I'm like, oh no, this is my nightmare. I got to teach them something that I have no idea about. I go, all right, Tom, have you ever painted on a big canvas before? He goes, yeah, a lot. And I go, oh no, I haven't ever done that either.
Okay, well, how about this? Have you?
Yeah. So he said, yeah, a lot. And I was like, uh-oh. I was like, okay, well, yeah, dip your brush in the paint, right? And he's like, yeah. I go, and then you raise up like this, and then you just whack it on that canvas, but it's one straight line, and then you stop. And he's like, oh, yeah. And I was like, yeah, does that make sense? He's like, it makes a lot of sense. I was like, yeah. And I was like, and then back up, and then you stop, and then you whack it. And so you just got one line of paint. And he's like, that makes so much sense. I was like, yeah, no doubt. And I tried to change the conversation. He's like, kept circling back to the fly fishing. I was like, you got to stop asking me about flies because I have no idea. And then we wrapped up the flight and getting off, and he goes, all right, man, I'm going to hit you up, and you're going to take me out fly fishing. I'm going to learn this a lot better. I was like, oh, no. So my wife, Danny's there, picks me up, and she's like, how was it? And I was like, I got to learn how to fly fish. So that's why I got into fly fishing, because of Tom. So I just got that permit down in Mexico and sent it to Tom, because I was like, I'm still proving to him that I can do it.
Bro, I don't know. I was like, man, I didn't know Dan was a saltwater guy. Either that, or he like it all lined up, or he got lucky, because permit fishing is kind of the elk hunting of saltwater fly fishing, and like you stuck a good one too. Not just like I got a little permit. Like
30-pound permit, man. It was a ride. No,
it's got to be so stressful too. Like I've only caught one permit, but when those guys are out there in the water about to get it, and they're like touching your line, you're just like, oh, please.
I was so nervous.
And you posted that video where he was out there, and it looked like he came back by the boat. And there's just a little chaos.
Boat. Yeah. I had slack in my line. I was like, well, there he goes. And just like every big fish, you're like, that was the biggest fish I've ever had, but it got away. So I don't have a picture, and that's the stories. That's like my story of fishing is like, I had one on and then it got away. So the whole time I was like, no way do I actually land this. When he came up with it, I was like, Oscar, you're the man. Yeah.
Oh, that was sick.
It was cool.
Definitely could be like, oh,
yeah.
sick. Yes, I am the man.
Yeah. I shocks me.
What made you go saltwater permit fishing? Or
I had all my gear down there, and my family and our friends, we all went down to south of Tulum and got an Airbnb, and we were fishing in the lagoon and fishing at during the week and stuff. And then my friends called me, and they're like, "Hey, Jeff can't make it down. His passport's not in yet. Are you in Tulum?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Well, we got to come through Tulum to Punta Allen, and we're coming Saturday. When do you fly?" I was like, "Saturday." And so like, "Do you want to take his trip?" And I was like, "Yeah." So I jumped in with those guys for another week, sent my family packing, and jumped in with those guys for another week. And on the first day, there's 14 guys, great, unbelievable group of guys in Ascension Bay. And then the first day, I catch my first permit. It's just a little permit, but I caught my first permit. I was like, yes, the weight's off my shoulders, because I've always wanted to catch a permit. And it drags on. And then the third day, still nobody else caught anything. Like, no way is Dane caught it, and he's got this free trip. And then the third day that we're checking in after fishing, and they're like, how'd everybody do? And everybody's got their heads down. Like, guy over here got a little permit. Dane, how'd you do? I was like, I don't want to tell you. I don't want to tell you. Yeah. But I got to show you. Yeah. So that was, it was pretty cool.
That's sick. What was kind of the encounter like?
Dude, their big tarpon were running at that point. So I had my tarpon rod up, and I was on the bow, and it was early in the morning. It was only 9:30 or 10 in the morning. And we're seeing a couple big tarpon. And so I'm just chilling up on the bow, and luckily I had my other permit rod just ready, which I recommend to everybody. Like, have your backup rod ready, where a lot of you're pulling it out and you're getting your fly out. Like, it was ready. And my buddy Andrew, who I was on the boat with, he was such a help, because I had my tarpon rod out, and I'm like just waiting. And then all of a sudden, Oscar sees a permit 30 feet out to the right. And he's like, permit, right? And I was like, oh, shoot. So I throw this rod over to the left. Luckily, just Andrew handed me the other one, and I had one backhand cast into the wind, and I just landed it, man. 3 feet in front of it, 3 feet beyond it, strip, boom, hit it. Like, it was so quick and just lucky.
Nice.
And it's funny, because the night before, I'm a big, I love to prepare for things. I think like anything you do, bow hunting, fishing, if you're well prepared, you're ready for that one moment that a lot of people aren't ready for and to elaborate on. And the night before, I just wasn't happy with a backhanded cast into the wind. I just couldn't figure it out when I was out on the boat that day, and it bothered me. And so when everybody's drinking cocktails in the lodge, I brought my rod out to the beach that night, and I was like into the wind, and I just worked on this backhand cast. And I was drinking a beer, and boom, backhand cast. Till finally I set it a few times in a row. I was like, okay, got it. I like it. And if I didn't do that night before, there's no chance I'm hitting that permit.
Dude, that's so sick. Because it's just like such a classic move by all these people that spend money to go saltwater fishing. This year was crazy. There was too much snow on the ground, but like, I'll always go out, like, work on my casting. Like, I mean, it's not cheap to go saltwater flats fishing. Like,
right.
I mean, for some people it is, but for most people it's not. So it's like, you want to maximize your opportunity. Like, why not? Like, I don't care how good you think you are, go practice your casting.
It blows my mind that people don't.
There'll be people be like, I'll be like, they're like, yeah, I'm going. I'd be like, I would get out and practice a little bit. Like, I'm like, dude, those shots can be super tough down there. And sometimes you don't get a lot. Like, just like you're saying, a lot of days where everyone's coming back. Nope, didn't catch one.
Yep.
Guys that have went trip after trip after trip to where now it's just like in their head. They couldn't catch permit if they got shots all day because they're just.
Yep. Yeah.
Like, that's cool that you were like the guy that like played the little Kobe move, went out and practiced, and then next day like got it.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
Because it bothers me when somebody's on the bow. Like there was another guy a few days later that was on the bow and couldn't get the shots in on these big tarpon. I'm sitting there like, put me on the bow because I can make that. It bothers me when people don't put in the work.
Yeah.
And you're on these trips like. I don't know. It shouldn't bother me as much. We're on the water having fun drinking beers. Like,
sure.
But it bothers me. You get one shot a day, maybe at these big fish. You better be ready for it. It's just like a big elk. Like that's probably why it took me so long to get into elk hunting because I know what goes into it, or I had an idea of what goes into it. And I'm not going to be the guy that comes ill prepared on a hunt. Like, I know. Like it's cool walking in and you're setting up your bow to go shoot tonight. I really respect that. I respect that out of all hunters and bow hunters preparing because you get. So many people also that just buy a bow and, shoot it a couple times. And then they're like, yeah, I hit the target twice, and I'm good. Yeah. And it's like, that's not fair to the elk. It's not, especially elk, fish, you just miss the fish. But like you go out and elk hunt, it's not fair to them for you to take a shot when you're not prepared and 100% sure that you can make that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Preparation's huge in hunting. You're killing something versus just catching it and throwing it back in the water. But yeah.
So that's what I take out of it. Like when I got into bow hunting, I was like, I'm putting hours into feeling very comfortable, and I'm not going to be the guy that goes out there and takes a 60-yard shot or something year one. I'm not going to do that. I'm not putting anything on the line. Like if it's in and I'm comfortable with it and I've took, hundreds of shots and I'm comfortable at that 30-yard shot, I'll take that. But until then, it's not fair to anything.
Do you have a place at your house where you can shoot your bow?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, cool little setup.
Yeah.
Yeah, come on.
Yeah, we'll have to shoot, and my buddy Jared's a bow nerd, like amazing shot. I'm a good shot because I had to like be a good shot, and when you're filming stuff and being in front of the camera and the whole world's watching you hunt, like you want to be proficient.
Yeah.
But I went through the whole target panic thing, brought myself out of it, and like created a process. So I'm above average with my bow, but he's a stud. And it really, the bow comes down to just like a rifle. Like I shoot rifle matches and stuff. Like there are foundational skills and things that need to be working, but they're not that crazy hard to figure out. And then after that, it's literally between your ears.
Yeah.
Like your process, how you execute and doing the same things and being analytical about what happened when it went wrong and how you can fix it. And there's a lot of people that their ego is their worst enemy.
Yeah.
When it comes to the same thing with the permit fishing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can make that cast. No, you can't.
Yeah.
I can kill that. I can shoot 700 yards. No, you can't. Like,
right.
I've done it so much to know that like, even at the highest level, like the guys never stop working because it's hard.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah, can you make that cast when Oscar up here is screaming at you and you're changing out rods?
No,
hit him. Yeah. Can you do that? Because it's pretty hard for me, and I practice a lot. And it's lucky, and the luck flies into everything. And yeah.
Do you fly fish much in Montana now? Or no?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Nice.
Yeah, and my wife does too, and your fiance does, right?
Yeah, she loves it.
Yeah.
We went down to Belize, down to San Pedro for 5 or 6 days. This year, and we fished for a couple of days with some guides, caught a bunch of bonefish, and I had some shots at permit, but they just weren't having it. Yeah, which is how it goes sometimes.
Yeah,
but we went into some of the little lagoons and found some tarpon, and Sam jumped a tarpon where I was just like swimming along the mangroves, and like she's trying to get it out there, and it's just short, and you're like, come on, it's about to go back in the mangroves. She finally gets a cast out there, and it's like about to go in. It hits here, and it just like turns. It like saw it, and it swims straight back at the boat, just eats it, and she strip sets, hooks him, and he just goes boosting out of the air and snaps her off. But she was just so
sweet.
I was like, I've never even jumped a permit, but I feel like, oh yeah, like you're into it.
That's awesome.
And she loves to bow hunt. She's a killer.
Yeah, cool.
She's only killed one bull with her bow so far. But
You don't have to say it like that because I haven't, and there's plenty of people that have. You could just say like, she has killed one with her bow.
no,
You could
I just
say it
was
that
like,
way.
I just was thinking about her bow hunting. That's like the coolest, not the coolest, but of the things that we get to do outside as far as, hobbies or pursuits, like watching her shoot her first bull, not her first bull, but her first bull with her bow.
Yeah.
And just her mental side of things is really, really good.
That's awesome.
And I feel like females typically listen. And when she bought a bow, I definitely inserted myself into that process and tried to like help build the framework in her head to be like locked in. Because when a bull's in front of you, like it's easy to just black out.
Yeah.
And not. I don't know where I held my pin. I don't know which way he was facing. I don't know because your adrenaline was just so crazy and your brain never went through that scenario before you got there.
Right.
Where if you trained with intention, like
Yep.
we'd go to the range shooting her bow, I'd be like, "What's your max distance?" And she'd be like 40 yards. I'd be like, "Shoot that right now, one arrow." She'd be like, "Man, like you're a dick,"
Yeah.
And it was kind of tough, because it's like, do it right now then. But like building that mindset when she first went, like it was just sweet.
Yeah.
That bull came underneath. She drew back. She did everything I told her to. Like step up. When you step up, like draw, pick a spot, laced him. Oh,
Wow.
it was sweet.
That's impressive.
Bow hunting's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
pumped for you.
Yeah.
I think I just like bow hunting a lot. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter who, but it's cool when it's your fiance or wife or whoever, your significant other, and same with your best buddies. But what's your plan for this year with bow hunting? You just gonna do an over the counter
just-
tag? Are you mountain hunting? Are you
Yeah,
trying to hunt on the prairie?
public and mountain. I like
Nice.
that. Yeah, my buddy that I was with last year got charged by a grizzly bear, and that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Went back 4 days later.
Were you
and-
with him when he got charged? or
Yeah,
not?
yeah.
Oh, nice.
And but I was like 100 yards up,
Mhm.
and I was the one with a gun. I don't know why he had bear spray, but he lost it. He did everything wrong, and I love him, and he knows I did everything wrong. I mean, he lost his glasses, his rangefinder. I mean, everything. And it's actually he took a picture for his kids, and in the background there's this huge grizzly bear, and he didn't even see it then. And then all of a sudden, this big boy just stands up over the water, just slams down. Whoa! And then he just got up, started sprinting up the mountain where I was, and then like everything you shouldn't do. And he looked back once and say that the grizzly was about 100 yards out. He was at 40 at this point, not charging, but just huffing and walking. And then he got on this little rock, not big, like 2 feet up, and he felt so comfortable on this rock, and I had to come and find him, and it's just like comical. And so we chilled on the rock for a couple hours, and I was like, "You're good, man," yeah. And then
That's hilarious.
but I love it. I was in it. I was just so in it. I'd go there by myself quite a bit, and one night I chased this pretty decent bull till shooting time was over, and that now I'm so far back.
Oh yeah.
And there's no trails back there or anything, and I'm bushwhacking coming back, and oh man, for 2.5 hours in the middle of the night, and I pop out over a highway, and I called my buddy Ralphie. I was like, "You got to come pick me up over here." He's like, "Dude, did you just get down now?" I was like, "I was on this bowl till it was almost dark, and then it turned dark quick,
Yeah.
and now you're in the middle of nowhere, and you're just sitting there like, hey bear, coming down, hey bear, if there's a bear, and I know there's a bear,
Yeah.
there's a bear around here, this is the area he's in."
Yeah.
Not the best feeling, but
No.
whatever.
Usually when you're coming out in the dark, you're not trying to be quiet though. So you're like,
Yeah, no, I was fine being loud.
I feel like a lot of bears, not to say there's not some that, you'd still have a problem with, but they generally don't like humans. And when you're making a bunch of noise, you shouldn't normally have an encounter with any bears of any kind, just busting through the brush and the timber and stuff. It's
Yeah.
more when you're sneaking around or
Yeah, that makes sense. A buddy of mine told me a good tip that I'll probably do next year is just bring a speaker. And then when you're coming out late at night or something, just throw music on, and then it's enough kind of just to, instead of you
have
having
a little boom box.
Yeah, man, I'll do whatever, because I'm sitting there the whole time with my little headlight on, hey bear, it's not that fun.
Do you have a good headlamp? Because
It's
that's
one
a
of those
good
diamond
investment.
ones. Yeah, I probably need to get a
have
better
one
one.
that just can go into spotlight mode and
That's probably what I need to invest in.
Because that's just nice going in or out in the dark when it's, I've only going to be hiking for an hour or not too long to where I can just crank this thing up, especially if it's in a weird spot or like by the creek or something, just like truck headlamp, like
see everything.
Yeah.
It's crazy how tired you get once you can turn everything off, right? Like after you come out at night and you're in Grizz territory and stuff. And then the minute I get back to like my cabin or get back to the tent or something, I can actually turn things off, like how exhausted my brain was. Yeah. Do you get that way or not?
For sure.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I like about hunting in grizzly bear country. It's like that everywhere, but grizzly bear country, I feel like just another step up of like constant hyper focus because you know what else is out there. Yeah. And wolves and mountain lions and black bear for the most part are not really like much of a threat, but grizzly bears, they are.
Yeah.
And just the sense of wild and just needing to be on all the time.
Yeah.
It's like when I go like in grizzly bear country and like I'm going to take a midday nap, like I pull my handgun out of the holster and I like get in a position to where like I'm going to sleep and like make sure that like I can like grab it without, freaking out. Cause like, what if you're taking a nap out there and a grizzly wanders along, it's like, I don't want to be freaking out trying to figure out where my gun is. If I all of a sudden hear a grizzly bear sniffing like 10 feet away from me, I want to just be able to like, it's the preparation, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I want to avoid all serious conflict and confrontation with grizzly bears. So I'm just trying to like keep that in the back of my head the whole time out there. Again, I'm going to go about my business and try to walk around there like, I got a big set of balls on me. Just I'm going to do whatever, but it's in the back of your head all the time, and you're trying to take steps to just be smart and respect the power.
You said take steps to be smart as you're going to take a nap. You know how insane people like that are going to watch this and listen to it? Like my buddies from Boston are like, wait, so your buddy Zack, like, so you guys just go out in the woods and you're hunting by yourself and you got to like pull your gun out of the holster when you take why are you taking a nap when there's grizzly bears walking around? People from the city or the East Coast, they can't fathom this, and like it's everyday life for us out here, which is kind of funny.
It's sweet. I mean, I'm so like blessed, and we all of us who have access to it, which everyone in the U.S. and for the most part the world does if they really want it, but
they don't want it.
No, they don't want it.
No, but
if they got a taste of it and had it in them to want it, they would like it.
Yeah, I could agree with that.
So, that's kind of all I got. I did want to talk about Bozeman stuff, but I feel like that's another podcast.
Yeah, man. And I got to have you on mine a few weeks, and we'll get cranking. It's great.
So let's end it with your podcast. What do you want to get out of your podcast? Why'd you start it? Because you're at the kind of the infancy. We're not that far along over here. We just started 4 months ago. So
mine's Fletcher Unfiltered. All things business, fitness, and issues in Montana. I did this. I've been battling the city of Bozeman on a lawsuit, and just crazy stuff. Yeah. So I've seen a lot. I got a lot of people coming in with issues. And so, mine is just a good sit down kind of like this on different topics. If people are experts in hunting like this, I think that's great. And then I have so many different experts in my gym and outside of just for, my contact list of people where I find it interesting on just talking to different people in their professions. Why wouldn't other people? So I just do an open mic instead of just on the phone. Yeah. And instead of me reaping the reward of picking everybody's brains in different avenues, why can't everybody hear about it? And also just shed light to everybody's eyes on the true issues that are going on, with the city or the state or however that may shake out. And so that's kind of the basis of it. I'm not trying to get endorsed by anything, or I am trying to get endorsed by a tequila company. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. I want nice. One tequila bottle to give my guest and sip on tequila when we do it. So that's, okay. I guess that's the end all be all. I'm just going to get endorsed someday by a tequila company.
Nice.
Hopefully.
I think you can make that happen.
We got to make that happen. I had two companies reach out.
Good enough network.
I had two reach out, but they just,
You got to find the right one.
It's got to be right. That's where we're sitting right now.
Good partners go a long way. So
Well,
sweet. Well, thanks, Dane, for coming on. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yep.